Just heard back from all of Houston, all the sources letting me know about how Offset just spoke with MobTies and J Prince Jr. and Jazz Prince, about the whole situation with the party they threw, who exactly they invited. Make sure y'all watch this whole video and subscribe so you get the full details. So let's get right into it, man. So look, Takeoff had to basically pull up on MobTies because Offset had to, for Takeoff, to question whether who they invited and like do they actually hang and chill out with the Pat and Cam dude, and are they actually connected with Fifth Ward like that? Because the word in Fifth Ward is coming out that people Ben knew that the Migos and these two dudes had issues with each other. So if Mob Ties and them and Junior and Jazzy and them, if they knew that there was some type of pressure, some type of issues and friction between these two people and the group, then it's like, why put them in the same building, the same night and everything? You know that these dudes they ain't come from a place where they're gonna get along, It's basically on site. So like the whole issue with that is that if Mob Ties knew this, then that's why Takeoff is saying, that's why Offset is saying, man, why did y'all even like invite these two dudes? You know that the Migos was gonna bring you more money to this whole thing. Then basically they used the Migos coming to the party as a way to invite the 40 people. But the thing is that for the invitation to come to that party, it was 1,000 a person. It was 1,000 a person ahead. That's how you get the ticket. So we just found out that you could just buy the ticket to be invited, and that's how Cam and Pat got in there. So now they're saying that they're giving Cam 5,000 to get a PI to try to solve his part of the whole mess. But how did they get him in for doing that to Takeoff, and then they turn around and give him 5 bands to try to get PI? And none of the public defenders, they didn't want to take him on because they knew that they would want to be like in the mix of this whole thing with the Migos and the Mob Ties in Houston and trying to deal with the situation with Cam and Pat. Like it wasn't worth it to them. And so it's a lot of pressure because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people trying to figure out, wondering what's all happening with this whole thing. And it keeps coming back, like the new details. And now that you just heard that, it spins the whole thing up, because what does he know for him to actually be able to ask for the PI, and that he's going to figure out more of the footage. Probably he's going to figure out more of the things. He's going to go to the bowling alley and ask the manager the questions. He might interview the manager, like past PI might interview the manager of the bowling alley to try to figure out if there's anything missing from this whole entire situation that they forgot, or that could go and help to clear up the whole thing on who did what. And they're going to detail, look up everything when they run back the replays, and they're going to figure out exactly, who was the one, and they're going to zoom in, make it go slow motion, everything like that. And so, but you guys got to understand that Cam probably already told, and Pat probably definitely told on someone else, and is trying to get the PI to like prove it on the person that he told on. So that's what's really going on. Because if you pay attention to this whole thing, what's really happening is he's trying to blame it on somebody else. So he snitched on somebody else, and then for him to get out of it, he's actually got to have the PI prove the whole entire thing on somebody else. Figure out exactly what they did, where they was, where they gonna mess up. They're gonna ask him the questions about, okay, what was you doing at 1:19 a.m.? And then they're gonna come back and be like, so you said at 12:15 a.m. you did that? And they're gonna say, yeah. And that's when they're gonna get him with the, you done messed up, you done messed up, right? You done did what, yep, exactly. So that's when they're gonna get him with that. They're gonna start with that. Then they're gonna play good guy, bad guy. They're going to have one guy come in, offer him cookies and donuts and chips to tell, and like some juices, and that he could tell on the other guy in the other room. And then once he's done with that, they're going to have the bad guy come in. He's going to kick the door in and tell him that they're going to give him 150 years if he doesn't say exactly who did it, and point names and, name names and point into directions of people. They want to know everything that happened. And so while they all doing that, everybody else is watching through the other side of the reverse glass that you can only see one way. It's a one-way glass mirror. And so what they're doing is they're looking to see if he's sweating, if his facial expression is giving away signs saying that he's guilty. And so while they're doing all of that, the family is like trying to get the justice. They're trying not to think about it too much. It's a whole situation where like it's a lot of moving parts and people are out there. They're trying to do their job. They're trying to find out who did it. And then there's a lot of people out there who trying to hide the fact that they seen who it was. They know exactly who it is. They hang out with him. It's a lot of girls there that actually hang out and, you know, got DM'd by that guy trying to kick it with them and all that. And a lot of people that got invited by the peoples that came out. And so what you got to understand is that all 40 of them people know exactly who did it. And it's only 3 people who's talking about it. And Lil Cam is talking because he's trying to get out that jam by snitching and stuff, because that's the only way he knows, you know, that he got caught for 3 other things. And so this is his 4th strike. So what do you think he's going to do? He's going to sing. He's going to sing out loud like you singing in the shower or something like that. And so because Cam is singing, that's how they found the 2nd guy. And the 2nd guy is going to tell on the 3rd guy, which they're going to all try to tell on Migos bands. And it's a bad situation because now it's like 4 or 5 people going down for it. That basically just goes to show, to tell you that you shouldn't even be anywhere near that type of situation. Because even if you think you in the right and you helping someone and this, that, and anything happens to somebody, you still gonna get blamed for it. You still at fault for it. So it's really not worth being around that and everything. It's the last resort that you want to have to go to. And so that's what most people are trying to use it for and everything like that. Not only that, but the fact that they were just being dumb with where they were. You know, if they had security with them, the security could have did it. But then you also got to understand that you got to be able to handle your own. And so because of that, it's like, man, don't go somewhere where you're going to be being tested so much and not having the security and everything. You can still try to handle your own, but you will be still blamed and you might not get out that jam. But had you not even gone there and you would have went somewhere else where it was probably less likely for something like that to happen, and anything can happen anywhere. But you got to understand, you got to move strategic. You got to move so smooth that you got to make sure where you going is worth it, and that the risk level you take and the pros and the cons. Okay, you're going to have fun, but is the amount of fun equal to the amount of risk? Is it at a better, you know, level to where it is worth going out there and maybe network and meeting people like-minded, business-minded or something, and trying to get some goals done and trying to figure out how y'all going to build up big companies and real estate and all that, right? Or is it a situation where you're like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, maybe just a regular amount of fun, but then it's a big risk because it's a bunch of people there that's street guys that already be beefing with your group. So and you have to check in at the same time. So you actually end up, the people you beefing with are the people you checking in with. How did they not realize that to begin with, man? Y'all got to move way smarter than them. You got to move definitely different. So it looked like Quavo basically led him there, man. This whole thing could have turned out to be a big setup by a lot of people, both sides, maybe even, you never know. But now you got QC going at MobTies saying that Prince Jr. and Jazz, they did a lot to do with this. They got to answer to it because they threw the party. You got to understand, the people who threw the party get questioned too, because you knew that they was beefing with Quavo the whole time. So why would you bring them in the same room? You're supposed to be checking.